Hey guys, I'm Tiffany and I'm here to do Free Tarot Friday for you. You found us on the Wise Guys channel. I would love for you to subscribe and like the video and just welcome to the channel. So enjoy your reading. When it's your turn, when your sign comes up, just take a deep breath in, start to soften everything, exhale, and just be in a more receptive state so that you can be prepared to hear from Spirit. So this is a fun weekend reading just to give you a little taste of what we do at Wise Guys. I'm using this deck. It's Egyptian, I almost said Italian, and I picked it up on a road trip in Roswell, New Mexico. So it's got the alien road trip vibe with it, right? So how we do Free Tarot Fridays is I'm going to go through every sign, Aries all the way through Pisces. So everybody will just get a quick hit, a little insight or guidance for their weekend ahead. And if you're new and you'd like to see what other services that we offer, please go to wiseguyscollective.com. We're doing a membership drive right now where you can join for only $22. That will raise to $39 in June. And this month, I'm our master teacher, and I'm teaching about Pluto retrograde and where it hits your chart. So if you want to join the membership, it's for students and seekers, and all of the perks are listed at wiseguyscollective.com on the membership page. So let's jump in. Let's see what our Aries friends need to know for the weekend ahead. Just some practical advice or guidance, something that they might find useful in planning their weekend. All right, or just knowing about themselves, right? So we get the Star card and the Four of Cups. So there can be a little bit of fear of missing out or not stepping up to the best potential of your life. And that can feel a little bit depressing, right? So if we focus just on the Star card, this is about shining in a dark place. This is about going forward anyway. This combo kind of makes me think of like the people that did something amazing later in life. Like you don't have to have worked your way up the ladder to do something really incredible. You could have been, in one area of life your whole life, and all of a sudden you just want to write screenplays and you just write the bestseller, right? So this is about not giving up before the miracle. This is about realizing that there are still many blessings to come, that the best is yet ahead. And that's how I would take this reading, Aries. So that's pretty positive spin on it. And let's check into our Taurus friends, just find out what our Taurus need to hear. Okay, we've also got the Four of Cups again. And let's see, the Two of Wands. All right, so this could be frustration about too many things, too many decisions to make. It's like everything's crammed into one corner and it's kind of freaking you out and you're feeling pulled in a lot of different directions, right? And so this can be a reminder to enjoy being present. So if you're feeling pulled in forward or feeling pulled backward or forward or back, like up, down, wherever, it's like, how can we stop that feeling? How could you say no to a few things? How could you backtrack and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I've overcommitted. I'm having a hard time just being present, So Taurus, trying to be present amidst many options. Again, that fear of missing out, that fear of making a wrong decision can really screw us up. There's no way you can make a wrong decision. You just make them and live with them, right? So finding some space and time to really enjoy where you are instead of worrying about where you're not, right? All right, let's shuffle the deck. Clear for our Gemini friends. Guys, Mercury retrograde coming up in Gemini in May. Three of Swords, not what you wanted, and the Empress, which is also a 3 card. Oh, good, it's not the Three of Swords, it's the 5. The 5 of Swords and the Empress. All right, so I think about kind of self-sabotage with the 5 of Swords, where I've turned something inward on myself, and how I'm pairing these two together really reminds me of the Ho'oponopono prayer, where it's like, I'm so sorry, I've used your words against me. I've used your words against me. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you, right? So some Geminis may be looking up the Ho'oponopono prayer. Dr. Len, L-E-N, is, there's lots of research about him. Really, really cool project and prayer and way to tap into the Polynesian native prayer life. Gosh, it's just so rich. I highly encourage each of you to study it. The Empress is about that mother, that fertility. It is Mother's Day. Maybe some of you guys are in conflict with your mother or your inner mother, or maybe you're in conflict with yourself for not being the best mother or not mothering, or, you know what I mean? There can be a mom issue. There can be a mom conflict. And so because my mom is passed and in spirit, I can tell you love her anyways. Be the best mom you can be. Show up for your moms, you know, you won't regret it later. So get over it, get over your stuff, and do what you got to do to make peace between that maternal lineage, I would say. I'm not saying that you have to go into an abusive household and relationship and suck it up. I'm just saying try your best to make peace with the mom that you got, or the mom that you are, or the mom that you weren't, or the mom that she wasn't, right? Because this is the kind of stuff that will haunt you and screw up every single relationship that you have. That thing that you got going on with your mom, there's a call for peace with that. All right. So Ho'oponopono prayer can be super useful in these dynamics, whether they're awesome or going through a difficult season, right? All right, let's clear for our Cancers. What do our Cancers need to hear for the month ahead or weekend ahead? They are getting a 6 of Wands and a Knight of Swords. All right, so Cancers, I feel like you're kind of just ready to shake things up, do something different. This is about moving forward. This is about going on a journey. This is about changing it up, taking a different pace. You know, this can come across as like you're looking really selfish or self-centered, and you might need to do that this weekend. It's okay to take some time for yourself, and it's okay to even say like, hey, I don't want to come across as selfish. I know that usually I'm serving you and I'm in the mode to be a team player, but this weekend I need to take a little time for myself. And maybe you go on a little road trip down the street. Maybe you go to a cafe that you haven't heard of before. Maybe you try out a different yoga studio. You know, this is about getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, getting out of your pattern a little bit, and not running over people while you're doing it. You know, being kind about it, you know, acknowledging like, I got to do something a little different this weekend. Thanks for your patience. You know, see you Monday, right? All right, let's clear for our Leos. Clear for our Leos. And what is it that our Leos need to hear for the weekend ahead? Some simple advice or guidance that would help them feel connected spiritually. Queen of Swords and the 6 of Pentacles. So I love this card because it reminds me of nostalgia, a blast from the past, childhood, like the good things, you know, it's like remembering the good things and just letting the not so good things go. So I know that this weekend, you know, maybe you're connecting with somebody like a childhood friend or siblings or cousins or people that you used to grow up with, or that you grew up with. Sorry, I get into a fast mode when I'm doing the readings. The 6 of Cups coins is about generosity too. So this can be a loan, this can be an offering, this can be a like one that you give or one that you receive, right? The 6s are about imbalance and trying to find balance. So you could be paying off some big debts. You could be realizing that you're one of the people that got their student loan thing taken care of, you know, like, and if you are, do something responsible with that, because the rest of us had to pay ours back, right? But anyways, this is about some kind of unfair, like disadvantage or advantage, like if, you know, the money thing is imbalanced, but it's not bad. This is a positive card. It helps us reflect on things. It helps us to make good. You might be making amends. You might be having conversations with people from a long time ago. You might be planning high school reunions. There are lots of ways that these cards can come out. When I think about these two together, I kind of feel like there's a come-uppance, right? Like, you know what I mean by like a come-uppance? The Queen of Swords has something to say, and it's not easy or comfortable, and it's kind of like facing the music in a way. So maybe there's facing some traumas from the past in a new light that you hadn't seen before. Going into this Mercury retrograde period with awareness, all right, can be really useful. It's time to edit some of the stories that you've told yourself, right? It's time to kind of realize your part in some things, right? And come back to the table with an amends, right? Okay, so that's for Leos. Not going to forget you, Virgos. I didn't forget you last time. I just got you out of order. So let's clear for our Virgos and see what advice would be useful in their lives during this weekend ahead. Just clearing for Virgos. Okay. Wow. Queen of Swords again, and the One of Swords, which is this beautiful hawk. Isn't that gorgeous? And look, their hair kind of looks the same. All right. So if we think about, again, the Queen of Swords, something harsh, something that needs to be said, some truth, some honesty, somebody that's going to kind of hold you accountable in some ways. And then this Ace of Swords, did I say One of Swords earlier? The Ace of Swords, right? This is about changing your mind, getting some different perspective. So I would say ask somebody that's older and wiser than you what they think before making a new decision. Just realize that any decision that you do make, Virgo, is going to be riddled with doubt after completion, confusion before completion. There's going to be back and forth. We're in human design gates. I think we're in the gate of doubt after completion right now. So that's going to be familiar to a lot of us in this moment, this weekend kind of feeling. But I just, in the Mercury retrograde, indecision, back and forth, wishy-washy. And so you're changing your mind about something, you're getting honest about something, you're getting clarity about something, but you don't have to necessarily do anything different right now. Again, we're just gathering data points throughout the month of May. Please listen to the May astrology forecast for help with this, Virgos and everybody. But I think that will give you some extra clues on the mystery of the month of May. All right, getting clear, getting honest, facing the truth, getting some help, seeing your way through some things. You certainly can book a session with us. We would love to help you get clarity on things. All right, let's clear for Libras. Let's see what is in store for our Libras for the month, weekend ahead. I want to do the month ahead, don't I? Woo, Libras, you get the Lovers card and the Four of Swords here. So I feel like, any Libras that are in conflict with their lovers, it's time to give it a rest. It's time to do nothing, say nothing, don't break up, don't move out, just do nothing. If you are a Libra in conflict with your lovers. If you are a Libra not in conflict with your lover, this is a lazy weekend of laying around, of going slow, of doing nothing, no plans, just going with the flow, open route, like feeling easy, lazy river, rest, sleeping in. All right. So that's a pretty positive reading for our Libras. The Lovers is also about a decision or a choice. Okay. So if you're not in a relationship, is there a choice that you could give a rest that you don't have to think through or fight through or make right now? Can you just be aware of how you feel all around the choices, right? All right, let's clear for our Scorpios, myself included. All right, and we've got an 8 of Pentacles and a Hermit, which I love. I love the Hermit card because I'm actually pretty introverted. I really like staying at home, but I like going out too. The idea here is for Scorpios, it looks like if you would stay home and work on a project, it would probably be pretty fulfilling. This is not what I wanted to hear because it's Mother's Day weekend and I want to go on a field trip and do some cool stuff outside. So maybe part of the weekend I would be willing to commit to going back to the drawing board, doing some work. Not that we need to work on the weekends, but this is really like, where do you apprentice? Where do you study? Where do you put in the hours that other people don't? Where do you get a little bit of an advantage? And the Hermit, because it is that alone time, there's some kind of work that you got to do by yourself that you can't get help with, that wouldn't be useful if you got help with. And so what can only you do? It looks like you need to spend a little time on that this weekend. So it doesn't mean you have to do the whole weekend that way. But I feel like unplugging a little bit so that you can focus, so that you can remember, so that you can, at the beginning of the month here in early May, get your priorities straight. Because we are all influenced by that toggle, that back and forth, that indecision of Mercury retrograde. Also, Pluto retrograde is heavy with us too, right? So hopefully that's useful for some of you Scorpios out there. Unplug a little bit, figure out what your priorities are so that you can start to chip away at them inch by inch, slowly but surely, right? Having some quiet time is going to be super important where you're not in aura with anybody else. All right, just part of your weekend, right? Let's clear for our Sagittarius and see what our Sagittarius need to hear for the weekend ahead. It's practical advice or guidance. They get an Emperor and a Death card. Okay. All right. So which of you is quitting their job this weekend? Which of you is changing their vocation? Which of you is pivoting in your career? Like, this is cool, Sagittarius, and it's like something has got to give, something's got to end. If you've hung on to a job too long that's not going so well, you might have a case of the screw it moments and be done and walk away and not look back, right? It's just like, don't not learn something from it. Don't get on repeat with it. Like, let whatever is not working at your job or the way you make income or the way you spend your days, right? Whatever is not working in that department, that 10th house sector of your life, let it go, let it die, let it be done with it, right? And look ahead. Look ahead for what's next. Let the wheel of fortune turn in your favor. So if you're unemployed, this can look really intimidating, right? And if you are employed, this can look really freeing. If this emperor is not about your job, maybe it's about your own, being the boss of your own life, and where you might have failed yourself, where you might have quit on yourself, right? And so where do you need to stand back up for yourself? Where do you need to lead that inner child forward and say, hey, it's going to be okay. I got this. I'm leading us. It's going to be okay. You can trust me to have security and whatever joy, whatever you want your job to bring forward. It's cool. It's a changing of the tides. It's, to me, that's very positive. I'm a Scorpio. I like the death card. All right, let's clear for Sag 9. Capricorns. What do our Capricorns need to hear for the weekend ahead? Just some practical advice or guidance, something different, something that shakes it up, helps them have a moment of clarity or awakening. Anything our Cappies need to hear? Okay. All right, this is the Justice card, La Justicia, and the Death card, La Muerte. All right, so justice and then death. Anybody want to interpret that for me, Capricorns out there? It looks like something feels a little bit unfair. And so what I'm going to tell you might not be comfortable, but the advice to stop fighting could be really, really useful right now. So Capricorns, where can you just put it down? Where can you just bury the hatchet anyway? Where can you not have to be right, not have to win? It is very, very difficult advice to hear, but it is the most freeing and peacemaking advice. And that's kind of what you're after. Do you want to be right? Do you want peace? Sometimes we want to be right, but Capricorns, in this moment, it looks like you got to put down your weapons and choose peace. Let the karma police take care of the imbalances. They do a much better job than we could ever do. And rest assured of that. All right, after Capricorn comes our Aquarius. What is it that our Aquarius friends need to hear for the weekend ahead? All right, 10 of Swords and the 9 of Cups. This is interesting because it's almost like you got what you wanted, and it's like it was a little bit more pressure, a little bit heavier than you thought. I feel like somebody just turned into this pressure sandwich. This can be psychic attacks. This can be taking on too much. Whatever it is, it signifies that enough is enough, that you're coming to an end cycle, Aquarius, that you're not going to keep doing the same thing. You're not going to keep taking on too much. You're not going to keep having the same conversations. You're not going to keep going back to the same patterns, whatever those are. But it's almost like, don't miss the gift that you got what you asked for, right? So this is a card of getting your wishes granted. So it's a good card, but it doesn't necessarily feel good. So this is a reminder, Aquarius, that life is happening for you, not to you, right? For you, not to you. What can you learn from that? Like, how can you work with that this weekend? Let's clear for our Pisces and just see what our Pisces need to know for the weekend ahead. Clearing for any Pisces watching. 8 of Cups and the 2 of Cups. All right. So 8 of Cups, traditionally, right? Walk away, don't look back. It's over. Be done with it. It's an ending. It's time to move forward. You haven't wanted to admit it, but it's time to go in this direction. 2 of Cups is about our love and our relationships. And so this could be kind of sad if something's over, right? You might not be ready to make that call, Mercury retrograde. You don't have to make this decision, but it feels like a loss, right? It feels like a loss. It feels like you are turning away from a relationship. Maybe somebody important to you just passed away or is in the process of passing away. Maybe you're at the end of the school year and you're graduating and you're losing an important teacher because you've got to go forward and get the next teacher. Maybe that's a metaphor for a spiritual teacher in your life. Even that graduation, even that pulling yourself forward in a loving way, there can be some sadness when you look back. So keep your eyes forward. In yoga, right? Like, we have to look where we're going. So if the pose is going up, we start with our eyes. If the pose is going to the right, like, look where you're going, Pisces, and where you're going is in the direction of love. So this is an intimate connection. This is a positive relationship. This is somebody who sees you for who you are. If you've been kind of lost in the wilderness in your love life, just know that good things are coming for you, and it starts with you. And it starts with losing what you're not willing to tolerate anymore, because you could tolerate a lot forever, All right. I'm not saying break up with anybody. I would never advise you to break up or to get together or anything. That's your choice, human will. I don't want to be involved in your karma. But what I can tell you is, looks like there's a little bit of grief in losing somebody that was near and dear to you, or things have changed. Maybe one person has evolved and they need to go forward, or there's something, there's some kind of imbalance that feels like, ugh, if only, like when we get out of acceptance, right? But it looks really good for you. So don't worry. Just keep going forward. Maybe pull some cards on your own, guys, and see what you get as different layers to add into what I've offered for you this weekend. This is just an offering. Doing this for just for free, just for fun, so we can all get a little quick hit of tarot and bring it into our weekend. And if none of that resonated, let me pull a universal card for that person who is still here, right? To the very end. Let's see, what is a universal card? Some message that we all just need to work with. 7 of Cups. Yeah, so this is very Mercury retrograde in Gemini. There's going to be a lot of options. There are a lot of choices. This isn't necessarily a month to be very definitive, but to try different things on, you know, to try some different outfits on before you commit to walking out the door, to see how different things might feel, right? So you're feeling into some different choices. Don't get into overwhelm, and don't waste your time thinking through them like forever. Just kind of see how that would feel. Dip in and out, dip in and out. Right. So for this weekend, what can you dip in and out of, and just take some data? And it doesn't have to mean anything, you know? You can change your mind. Like the 7 of Cups is lots of options. You can change your mind. Don't lock yourself into one. Don't pigeonhole yourself in. And all the options are gifts. There's not a bad option. There's not a bad choice. The 7 of Cups are all full. They have different things in them, and they're all really cool. So it doesn't really matter which one you choose. So this is a choose your own adventure life, and this is a really cool card for all of us to get because it's a reminder, right, that there's no bad choices, there's no mistakes, there's no fault living. You know, things right now can be simple but not easy. So we invite you again to check out the blog on Wise Skies. Join us in the membership for students and seekers. Seekers, you guys get 25% off your membership. I mean, 25% off of your readings. That's a good deal. You get 50% off of the Astrology digital calendar if you don't have it already. That's a good deal. You get the Astro Tarot, the full reading. I use 3 decks for the signs when I do the Astro Tarot for the membership for the whole month. April's Akashic Records reading is in there, so you can get an energetic dive into the celestial realms for what to expect in May. On the student side, of course, we have our human design support call and our masterclass. I mentioned I'm teaching this month's masterclass on May 12th at noon at Central Time. It's about Pluto retrograde. I have the slides together. I haven't gone back over the Pluto return the United States is experiencing in a while, so I was just going back over that. I'm going to look at where Pluto retrograde is hitting your chart. Pluto retrogrades every year, 5 or 6 months. It's not unusual or different or life altering, but it's happening during this Mercury retrograde period. And I think there's going to be a new tone to it. Pluto is the higher octave of Mars, right? Pluto and Mars co-rule Scorpio. And so I feel like there's some deep regeneration going on. And I want to help you identify where that is by giving a little class on Pluto, Pluto retrograde, and how it affects you personally. So I'll be giving my hot takes on your chart. I hope you join us. It's for members only. wiseguyscollective.com. Join the membership. We'd love to have you. And thanks so much for being here, guys. Until we can work together again or in a one-on-one capacity, thank you for stopping by. Please like and subscribe. We're glad you're here, and have a great weekend no matter what you do. Namaste.